Today's story is about a little girl. Her name is Thumbelina. Once upon a time, there was a woman who longed for a child. So desperate was she that she asked help from a witch, 一個巫婆啊, who gave her a seed and told her to watch what happened when she planted it in a flower pot. The plants grew and the flower, and when the bud opened, there inside was a tiny little girl, no bigger than your thumb. 佢好似大同你嘅手指咁大嘅喎。The woman loved her dearly and called her Thumbelina. Thumbelina her bed was a walnut shell. 一個核桃嘅殼嘅佢嗰張床嘅 with a rose petal coverlet. 玫瑰花粉嘅床單 She could roll the walnut shell across a bowl of water using a pair of horse's hair as oars. One night, while Thumbelina was asleep in her walnut shell, a hideous toad came through the opened window. 一個好肉酸嘅青蛙入咗佢張床啊 What's a pretty young lady? She could make a lovely bride for my son. The toad croaked to himself. Picking up the walnut shell with the sleeping Thumbelina inside, he hopped away. She was horrified. Ah! When she woke up, she found herself on a leaf of a water lily, 一個荷花 floating in the middle of a pond, and the toad told her she was to marry his son. Ah! She was horrified and burst into tears. 我唔想同個青蛙結婚啊！救命啊 Please help me! But the toad was very pleased when she was crying, because toads think that crying means you are happy. 原來青蛙咧喊咧就代表佢哋開心嘅喎。不過咧 Thumbelina is not very happy. 佢好唔開心㗎。A butterfly heard her sob and used one of the horse hairs to tow the leaf to the bank while the toads were away. Thumbelina thanked her. Before she could climb on the bank, a large stag beetle flew down and picked her up and carried her into a high tree. He thought she's so beautiful, so beautiful. So he gave her sweet flowers and compliments. Compliments 即係讚美，即係讚佢好靚啊。However, when the other beetles came to see the new arrival, they said, "Oh, she is so ugly." "Fancy," said one, "she has only 2 legs. How strange! And no feelers at all." "She was very particular," said the beetles. In truth, Thumbelina was very beautiful, but the stag beetle began to believe she was not, and decided to let her go. He carried her to the ground and left her on a daisy. As it was summer, Thumbelina could find food for herself and keep warm, but when winter came, she was very unhappy, for the snow covered all her food and her clothes were too worn and ragged to use anymore. She was sitting and shivering, 震晒啦，凍到震晒啦。Until one day a field mouse had found her, and taking pity on her, invited her into a warm little house and took care of her. But soon there was a mole. 一個田鼠嚟咗啊 and asked her to marry him. And the field mouse said how lucky she was to find the mole. Thumbelina, however, did not want to live underground and never see the sun and flowers again. She couldn't handle it. So the mouse helped Thumbelina spin just before the wedding. Thumbelina went into the sunshine for the last time and asked the flowers to give the swallow her love if ever they saw her again. Just there came joyous tweet, and the swallow was diving down and swooped up above her. Come with me, come with me. I'll take you to a warm summer land, and you can live there and be happy. So Thumbelina thanked the kind little field mouse and asked her to explain to the old blind mole she couldn't live underground. Then Thumbelina said goodbye to the flowers and climbed on the swallow's back. Up they flew higher and higher, carrying her over the fields and the forest and the deep blue sea. The air grew warmer as the swallow spiraled down towards some ruins, great tumbled pieces of stones with broken columns covered in greenery. Thumbelina climbed down and looked around for the flower. Trumpets jumped, while little people jumped of her own size. I'm Prince of Flower Spirits, and one of you are welcome to our lands, Thumbelina. Soon the prince and Thumbelina fell in love and were married and lived happily ever after. Such a wonderful story, boys and girls. 好好聽㗎. Okay, well, boys and girls, it was wonderful reading the story to you. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.